Okay to do it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this beautiful jewel of Belize. My name is Leticia. Leticia, whichever you prefer calling, good. I know you're hearing my voice, you're not seeing my face. We're going to be making a stop in just a few, and there is where I'll be getting off the trolley. You get to meet myself here, you get to meet the driver, and my two policemen after that will meet you. You keep in mind it's not a hop-on, hop-off tour. Once we get on the trolley, it's until the end of the tour. We're going to be making one stop along the way, and there is where we all get off to introduce ourselves. For the hour, you get to see the staff that will be working with you. Keep in mind, you're not able to see my face, but I can hear you all the way up front here. I love to ask questions. I like to get your feedback. Feel free to shout out your answers. Have your cameras ready. We have the first morning coming up on the passenger side, right next to Caribbean Sea. We have a beautiful sign here. The word reads Belize. Look at these bright, beautiful colors here. All these bright colors represent the wide diversities of cultures, ethnicity that we have here in Belize. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, that sign has more likes than I do on Facebook. How unbelievable, right? So we're going to be making the stop, and myself will be getting off, my driver. As soon as we make this stop, I want you all to give my driver, Nardo, a big round of applause. Why? Because today is his first day on the job and the first time behind a wheel. How do you feel now? Right? Sit back, relax, enjoy your tour. So like I've mentioned, our literacy rate is at 91%. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, within our country, we have 800 schools. Education is mandatory by law, but it is not free. But it is pretty much affordable for many Belizeans. 85% of our entire population are Christians. Roman Catholic is the largest denomination. Let us take a look at the passenger side next to the seawall. Do you see the yellow sign up front? It reads bump in black. Use your imagination. Take a good look at that sign. That's right. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're heading over is what you call a speed bump. Am I right?
Yes.
In Belize, we call these sleeping policemen. And this is the only time we get to run over a cop and we get over legally. On the driver's side, the large glass front building is a Radisson Fort George International Hotel. Opened its doors in 1953. Later constructed a glass front, which later became part of the Radisson Group. It is a 5-star hotel, but I don't say 5-star because I call it nice accommodation. I say 5-star because if I, as a local Belizean, would like to spend the night here, after they quote me the prices, all I see are stars. On the passenger side, the pier extending into the water is for the Radisson as well. Last August of 2016, Hurricane Earl passed through Belize and destroyed the wooden previous pier that was here. So this is a newly built pier, but the previous pier had some sentiments for us because in 1998, one of the first cruise ships started coming to Belize. We didn't have a port, so the ship had to dock out to the water. The guests had to be tethered from the ship to the Radisson Pier and out to their different destination of Belize. What a big transgression over the years from a pier to a port. Two disasters can destroy our country are one, hurricane, and second, fire. Let's take a look on the driver's side. Remnants of this building standing here. Last November of 2016, on an early Sunday morning, this building caught on fire. This building held a lot of history for us. It was Belize's first private hospital, known as the Holden Memorial Hospital. The building was then changed over to a discotheque, and from the discotheque to the chateau until previous when the building burned down. The movie Dance of War was filmed here at the chateau in 1980, featured Christopher Walken. Let's take a look at the gazebo on the driver's side. On the white wall, there's a colorful word that reads Belize. Every so often, you're going to see that word around Belize City, just to keep you informed and remind you of the country you are in today. But I want to show you something unique. At the count of 3, I want to hear you all shout that word Belize as loud as possible and tell me what happens to your face. 1, 2, 3.
Belize!
Did you all smile? Yes. Unbelievable, right? Only in Belize it gets unbelievable. Don't go back home looking up that word in your dictionary. It's not there. So ladies and gentlemen, when you say that word Belize, it automatically put a smile on your face. If you try saying Brazil, it doesn't work. Stick with Belize. On the driver's side, 2-story white building, red and white fence. This is the Taiwanese consulate. This is just to show you what Belize is all about. Consulate, take a peek in the yard. Do you see all the tons of security in there? Right, just to tell you what our country is all about, right? On the driver's side, the large white mansion, yellow windows. This was the personal home of Belize's millionaire. He was known to us as Robert Sidney Turton. He became Belize's millionaire. He extracted the sap from the sapodilla tree. He squared them off, exported them to Mr. Wrigley's. A few flavored was then added to the base, and we got chiclets. Are you all familiar with chiclets?
Yes.
Chewing gums. And there was where he made his wealth. But he's the guy who I said to have had more dollars than cents. He owned 99 of these homes in Belize City. He painted every one of them white and yellow. He personally believed that yellow kept away mosquitoes. Do you all believe so? No. Sad to say the poor fellow died from malaria. But if you're wondering, why are we all dressed in yellow? Well, no, it's not to keep away mosquitoes, but guess what? I think we look good in yellow. Don't you think so?
Yes.
All right. On the driver's side, the yellow building is the St. Catherine's Academy Auditorium. St. Catherine's Academy is one of the only 2 all-girls high school administered by the Sisters of Mercy out of Dublin, Ireland. Back in our past history, this high school was meant for the elites only. Today, any of our daughters can attend this high school as long as we can afford the tuition fee and they can keep up the grades. Within our country, there is only 2 all-girls high school, 1 all-boys high school. All other schools are co-ed schools. On the same driver's side, the yellow and brown building looks like a Marion temple. What do you think this building is all about? Come on, give it a try. You're probably saying a museum, probably saying a government building. Well, it is actually the Central Bank of Belize. Were any of you thinking it looks like a prison?
Yes.
You're partially right. Here was where our prison first located. It was then known as Her Majesty's Prison. In 1994, the government relocated the prison from here to 17 miles away from Belize City, an area now known as Cathedral. Ladies and gentlemen, Central Bank is the mother of all other banking institutions within our country. As we venture off within this area, we are now entering a newly developed area. Feel free to take a look on the passenger side, on the driver's side, even the area we're venturing on. Believe it or not, 10 years ago, all of this area was the Caribbean Sea. The government dredged, reclaimed, and landfilled this entire area here just our tourism season, we tend to get 5 cruise ships per day. Kids getting late to school, people getting late to work, and so the government decided, hey, let's landfill this area to accommodate cruise ship passengers and cruise ship days. But let us take a look at what was discovered while dredging. Take a look at this roundabout. There are 4 cannons. Take a very keen look at these cannons. They are not duplicates. They are not replicas. And I don't see a sticker on them that says made in China or Taiwan. These are all original cannons that was last fired on the 10th of September of 1798. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we had the British and the Spaniards who fought for this little country Belize. My question to you all, who did you think won that battle? Was it the British or was it the Spaniards?
British.
The British, of course. Hence the reason I am speaking English today. If the Spaniards would have won, this is how I would have been doing your tour for you all today. Buenos días, mi amigos, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos a la ciudad de Belize. Sí, yo puedo hablar español también, si tú quieres. So I need to ask you all, how is my English so far?
Beautiful.
Great.
Thank you, because if you like, I can do the entire tour in Spanish. How about Creole?
No.
Are you familiar with Creole?
Yes.
Alright, in our country Belize, 3 main languages are spoken here, English, Spanish, and Creole. Our Creole is a bit different from Louisiana and Orleans. They all speak a French Creole. Our Creole is an African-based language. Any word that ends with ER, AR, or OR, we dismiss the ending and simply add an A. We speak it very fast. We tend to say we speak bad English. Sister becomes sister. Water becomes water. Butter becomes butter. Better becomes better. Come on, let me hear you. November becomes?
November.
December becomes?
December.
Wow, fast learners. So tell me, children become? Come on.
Picnic.
Children become children. No. Children become adults. But in our country, we don't refer to the children as children, kids, or brats. We refer to them as picnic. Picnic derived from the African word picanani. To shorten that word, we simply say picnic. Simply means small people or little one. Quick sentence in Creole. Me picnic gone to school today and I give them shilling. Me picnic gone to school today and I give them shilling. My children, they went to school today and I gave them 25 cents. Anybody have an idea what is shilling? Money, right? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't say quarter, or 25 cents, but we use that word shilling. Why? Because we were once part of the British. We were formerly known as British Honduras until 1973. The name was then changed to Belize. But we forgot to inform the world about the name changing. Hence the reason when you ask many people where is Belize, they tend to say, we don't know where the hell Belize is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Belize is in Central America. You notice our streets are pretty small, they're very narrow. That is because these streets were not meant for all these vehicles here. These streets were built to accommodate the horse and buggies, mule and carts. Hence the reason I say Nardo is Belize's most professional driver. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1901, the first vehicle came to Belize. Well, Belize City had to be built. Wasn't a planned city, it was just simply built. In my own opinion, I tend to say the contractor who built Belize City was a narrow-minded contractor. Take a look at all these narrow streets that we venture through. Driver's side yellow-brown building is the oldest Roman Catholic primary school within Belize City. This is called the Holy Redeemer Roman Catholic Primary School. Average day starts at 8:30 in the morning. 11:30, go home for lunch, returning back at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Classes are later on dismissed at 2:30 for the little kids and at 3:30 for the others. Our schools are based on a church-state system. Wherever the school is located, the church is right next door. Up front the driver's side, we have the Holy Redeemer Cathedral. Like I said, Roman Catholic is the largest denomination. Get your cameras out, zoom in, use cameras, iPods, cell phones. We are now approaching the manually hand-powered crank bridge in Central America, locally known as the Belize City Swing Bridge. No need to worry because the bridge will not be swinging with us, but you get to capture a beautiful photograph once we get up top the bridge. Zoom in your cameras, your iPods, your cell phone, because once we get up top the bridge, I want you all to take a look on the driver's side. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a beautiful view for you all to capture. As well, you can actually view your cruise ships from up top this bridge here. But keep in mind, if you don't see those cruise ships, no need to worry, they already left. But you see, next week, same time, same place, they surely will be back here. Now you see, I don't have a mansion, but I will be more than happy to accommodate you all at my home. Venturing off the swing bridge, we are now on Albert Street. We are downtown Belize City. We are within the heart of the hub right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here is where you can get anything that you're looking for, from electrical to appliances to clothing to footwear. Everything you're looking for, you can find here. If you haven't seen a friend in a long time, come on downtown Belize City and guess what? You surely will come across that person, as this is the area that comes pretty much alive. So ladies and gentlemen, we are on Albert Street, and if you take a look at all these beautiful faces of our Belizean people, you notice in our country there is all different denominations. We have the Creoles, the Mestizos, the Creoles, the Garfunas, the Mayas. Those are our four major ethnic groups. All other ethnic groups migrating here, such as the Chinese, the Taiwanese, the Lebanese, the East Indians, the Arabs, the Amish, the Mennonites, Canadians, Americans, Jamaicans, Europeans. We have all different ethnic groups that migrated here. In our country, we are a melting pot of all cultures, faces, races, and languages. In our country, we are all mixed up. You can find a Creole boy with a Hispanic girl, a Chinese girl with a Creole boy, a Garinaga boy with a Maya girl. We're all mixed up here. Downtown Belize City, and if you notice the clothing and footwear department, these are the Hindus that come from India. They're the ones who provide us with all the clothing and the footwear. Majority of our clothing and footwear comes from Panama or Florida. As well, if you notice, there is no KFC, no Burger King, no McDonald's, no Wendy's, no Popeyes, no franchise. We don't have any of the above, but we have the Asians, the Chinese. 90% of our grocery shops, supermarkets, and restaurants are all owned by Chinese. They're the ones who provide us with the fried chickens, the burgers, the chow meins, the fried shrimps, and so forth. They're the one who provides us with majority of the fast food. If you notice, you see a lot of little small shops around the area. These are local Belizeans trying to make a living selling food, fast food as well, stew beans, white rice, stew chicken, and so forth. For example, a little cart here on the passenger side, you can find them selling tacos. On the driver's side, look at the cream and white building here, reads Hindu Temple. And across the street to the passenger side, the white building reads Methodist Church. Two different denominations just across from each other. In our country, there is no fuss, fight, or argument when it comes to religion, as we have all practices here. We have the Roman Catholic, the Anglican, Adventist, Presbyterian, Jehovah's Witnesses, Latter-day Saints, Muslims. We have all of them right here. The only thing we don't really have here as yet are the Hare-Krishnas. But the minute we get a bigger airport, trust me, they surely will be coming. Did you notice all the children in their uniform, girls and boys wearing their uniform? Did you notice the color of that uniform? White. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it is mandatory for every child to wear a uniform from pre-kinder to primary level to secondary level. It is mandatory for uniforms to be worn from Monday to Fridays. Coming on the driver's side, there is a large green building here that reads Equity House. This is the law firm for Belize's Prime Minister, Honorable Dean Oliver Barrow. A majority of our politicians are pretty lucky. Majority of them has 2 jobs. They are a professional lawyer and they are also known to be politicians. So they are pretty lucky. Majority of them has 2 jobs. On the driver's side, the passenger's side is the Anglican Cathedral College. It is not a college, it is a secondary level, but being that we were once part of the British, we tend to use the word college. This was the first all-girls high school known as St. Hilda's All-Girls High School. Today, this is a co-ed school, both boys and girls. Get your cameras ready. Let us take a look on the driver's side. A very historical building. This is called the St. John's Anglican Cathedral. Started construction from 1812, completed in 1826. All these little bricks came aboard the ships all the way from England to Belize. They came as ballast. Ballast simply meant to hold a balance on the ship. Ladies and gentlemen, this entire cathedral was built by the hands of the African slaves. But sad to say, they were never allowed to worship inside the cathedral until the 1st of August 1838, when slavery was abolished, emancipation. Then the Africans could have entered inside the cathedral to do their worship. This cathedral that you're viewing, ladies and gentlemen, the original roofing was of mahogany shingles. Over the years, due to storms and hurricane, it had to be renovated and changed over to galvanized zinc. Today, present, the chairs, the altar, the pipe organ, the windows, the doors that you're looking at are made of 100% mahogany. Are you all familiar with mahogany?
Yes.
A very durable, long-lasting piece of wood. If you take a look right here where the trees are located, the small little tree with the red flower, the tree exactly behind that with those small little branches, that is the bottom painted one, that is known as a mahogany tree. That's a pretty young mahogany tree. A full-grown, mature mahogany tree takes about 80 to 100 years to mature. Anglican Cathedral, ladies and gentlemen, we made history apart from England. We're the only other country in the world where 3 mosquito kings was being crowned inside the cathedral. On the passenger side, the white picket fence, look at this beautiful large white mansion, green windows. This was known as the Government House of Belize. Today it is now known as the House of Culture. Our Governor General Dame Melita Gordon first resided here. Queen Elizabeth II visited Belize in 1985 and stayed here. Superintendents, lieutenants, and governors of the elite visited and stayed here. This entire compound was off limit to us Belizeans for 150 years. Today, this is still a source of property of Queen Elizabeth II. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance to see our money, you will be noticing that Queen Elizabeth's face is on all of our dollars. The minute her face gets off our money will devalue. She is the titular state of the country, Belize, followed by the Governor General and the Prime Minister of Belize. So ladies and gentlemen, our money comes in all different colors, starting from a $2 bill, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100 bill. From there we have 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, and a dollar coin. So the Queen face is on all of our money. As we venture within the area, I want you to take a look at the colonial flair of this area here. There are many colonial homes and buildings within this area. They are buildings that were built of red bricks. We even have a house that is still visible of mahogany shingles. triangles within this specific area here. So this area played a big part of our history because we once had the British here, ladies and gentlemen. The British were the one who brought the African slaves here for the helping of the mahogany and later for the logwood, and later on started exporting mahogany. Mahogany grew drastically for us, and that was what actually led Belize on the map. But like I said, the 1st of August 1838, slavery was abolished. The British decided to set the Africans free. They gave them free parcels of property around Belize City for them to start their lives with their families. Hence the reason today we have the ethnicity known as Creole. Anybody that has African mixture are known to be a Creole. The Africans met the Europeans, they intermarried, they intermingled, and that was what brought us to Creole. We are now venturing on Regent Street, which was formerly known as Front Street, But in 1961, Belize was destroyed by a devastating hurricane. That hurricane was known as Hurricane Hattie. Hurricane Hattie brought us winds of 150 miles per hour, leaving us with a tidal waves up to a foot of water. Now Belize City Belize City is 3 feet below sea level, 12 foot of water. What did you think happened? 300 people died in that 1961 hurricane. Many homes and buildings was destroyed. After 1961, Belize City had to be rebuilt. After 1961, ladies and gentlemen, the capital was then renamed as well. So today, Belize City is only the commercial center. The capital of our country is now called Belmopan. The first capital was known as St. George's Key. We have 2 very important buildings coming over here on the passenger side. First, white and green building is called the Magistrate Court. This is where all the small cases are being tried. Take a look above the door. There's a wreath with an initial BDR King George V ring. Right next door, the large white building is called the Supreme Court. Supreme is the second highest court in the country next to the Court of Appeal. Here is where all the high-profile cases are tried, like drugs, murder, human trafficking, rape, and money laundering. 1985, the last capital punishment took place here, right up front the Supreme Court. Ladies and gentlemen, we did a lot of capital punishment, especially for murders and rapers, or person that rape. On the passenger side, the green building with the bricks, this is the oldest Presbyterian church. On the driver's side, the large white building, this is the oldest bank within the country. It was formerly known as the Royal Bank of Canada. Today it is now called the Belize Bank. Get your cameras out and take a look up from the train. On the driver's side, we have what you all consider to be the Times Square rotating clock spinning here. B&B, going and going group of company, providing us with crystal drinking purified water, Belikin, our local beer, and Coca-Cola. I don't say Belikin, I say Be Liking. Because after you try 1 Belikin beer, you've got to have 2 and 3 and 4 and more. That's how good our Belikin beer is. Coca-Cola, we are a Coca-Cola nation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If we have any Pepsi lovers on board, you're in the wrong country. Don't let me spoil your foot. We are a Coca-Cola nation. We are back over on the Belize City Swing Bridge, and heat is being placed in the center of the bridge. It is manually hand-powered cranked by 8 gentlemen. Upon the request of these fishermen coming in with their vessels for safety during the time of storms and hurricanes, that is when you can actually find the bridge swinging by 8 gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, today we only swing this bridge upon request. We once used to swing 5:30 in the morning and 5:30 in the evening. To preserve the remnants of the building, we only swing upon request. Look at all these people in the parking lot and on the driver's side. These are people trying to make a living. These are the people that falls under the 7% unemployment rate. Ladies and gentlemen, Belize it or not, in our country, Belize, there is no welfare system. No welfare system, no free hands-out, no food coupon. Do you want to know what the deal is? Get up and work to put food on your table. If you don't work, you don't eat. I kind of like that, ladies and gentlemen, because it gives us a sense of responsibility. We tend to be responsible for our action. If you have 5, 10, 15 children, they are not the taxpayers' responsibility. They are not the government responsibility. They are your responsibility. So at the end of the day, in this country, everybody has to get up and work. On the passenger side, the large yellow and green building is the largest police station, known as the Queen Street Police Station. Our police officers work hard on a daily basis in keeping the country, the people, and everybody here in Belize safe. Ladies and gentlemen, to every 3 officers, only 1 carries a pistol. Now you might be wondering, what's the crime rate like in Belize? You be the judge. We have a population of 90,000 people in the country. In the city, 90,000 people. We have a population of 350,000 people in the country. We have 1 correctional facility with 1,400 inmates. All these inmates include male, female, and minors to the country of Belize. How do you think we're doing when it comes to crime rate?
Pretty good.
I think we're doing pretty good. Now, if you notice the homes, right now we are within the commercial part of the city. Belize City is only 5 square miles divided in 2 portions. The 2 portions are north side and south side. A body of water known as the Halova Creek is what separates the city in 2. 3 groups of people lives within this country: rich Belizeans, middle class Belizean, and average Belizean. Do you notice we don't use the word poor, but we use average Belizean? Because like I said, everybody got to get up and work to put food on their table. Ladies and gentlemen, as we venture within the area, you're going to be noticing that the structures, the homes, the buildings are going to be changing up quite a bit. This is an area where you're going to be seeing a lot of shanty home, broken home, unpainted home, dilapidated homes, and small homes. Now you might be asking the question, why don't they break down all these shops and shanties, take their properties to the bank, get a loan and build a nice decent home? Well, that's not the way it works here. Keep in mind that average Belizean work 9 hours per day, 6 days out of the week for $100 a week. With that $100, send your children to your house rent. At the end of the day, $100 is not much, but we don't complain. We get up, we work, we live, we love, we embrace, and we appreciate. So why don't we take the properties to the bank? The interests are too high. 16 to 20% interest. If you're only earning $100 per week, the bank will never grant you a loan. And if you go to the bank and you get that loan, you have an 80% chance of losing your home and your properties to the bank. And then, where does that leave you? So at the end of the day, we live within our means. We don't put our hats higher than our heads. So ladies and gentlemen, let's keep in mind as we venture within this area, we got to give credits to a lot of these homes too. Because many of these homes are 100+ years, and many of them withstood some devastating hurricanes, devastating storms. And in our country, Belizeans, little by little, they build their homes in portion until eventually the homes complete. As we venture within the area, you notice that many of the homes are built up high on stilts. That is because Belize is below sea level. The higher we build the homes, water cannot get inside. During the hurricane season, the rainy season, if we get 1 full constant day of rain, we can get up to 8 inches of water here in Belize City. We even had days where the government had to call off classes for the day because the city is flooded with water. We can't allow the kids to go to school getting their feet wet, everybody gets sick, so we do have time where the government calls off classes for the day. As we venture within the area, ladies and gentlemen, you notice that our homes are not painted and beautified on the outside. That is because the more we paint, the more we beautify the outer home, the higher the taxes are for us on the home. So we got a little bit smart, and we prefer just leaving the home as it is. As much as us as Belizeans would like to paint and beautify to upgrade the homes and properties, we leave it as it is. Because the more you beautify your home, the higher the taxes are. As well, ladies and gentlemen, if you notice we have rebars above some of the foundation up top, that is to cheat the tax system as well. So if they come for a property tax, how can you tax a building that is incomplete, right? You come back another 10 years, the rebars are still shooting up. So it shows that we have intention of building on top. We're coming up to one of the highlights of our tour. Yes, we're coming up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, directly up front the train, we're coming up to the highlights of the tour. If you all can see what I'm talking about, I'm actually giving it away, highlights of the tour. Anybody see what I'm talking about?
Look at that.
Traffic lights right up front the train here. Oh yes, it is working. I usually say highlights because this stuff right here, majority of the time is not working. In our country, we have 5 sets of traffic lights. But us as Belizeans, we are no fan of traffic lights because there are confusions. We know that red is to stop, green is to go. What is the yellow all about? Does it go faster? Yeah, so we prefer when the lights are not working. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how do we slow traffic? We have the traffic lights, we have the speed bumps called the sleeping policeman. We also have traffic officers that stand in the middle of the road, and we also have the stop signs too. Are you all familiar with stop signs?
Yes.
When you all come across a stop sign, what does that mean for you?
Spin tires on pavement.
Stop signs for us means mere suggestion. But guess what? It's better to stop. So ladies and gentlemen, we are now on Freetown Road. Freetown. This is one of the areas that got its name Freetown from the African slaves because they set them free and they brought them within this specific area here and gave them free properties. For us as Belizeans, our properties are passed down from one generation to the other generation. For us in our country, you notice we build homes up high on stilts. As our kids get older, become men and women, we enclose the bottom of the home and our children, they live downstairs. For us, we like our families as close as possible to us. I know you all might see it strange, but for us, once the kids reach 18, 21, we don't want them to leave. We still want them around us, so we enclose the bottom of our homes, and that's for the children. See what I'm talking about? Look at all the water sitting here on the passenger side. And this is because last night we were having some rain. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if we get one full day of constant rain. All the streets and yards are filled with water. It's a bit difficult for people getting out of their homes, out of their yards, to go to work and go to school. On the passenger side, there's a yellow building with roofing. This is the technical vocational area. Being that we don't have welfare system here, many Belizean students, boys and girls, who are not fortunate to go to a high school level or dropouts, you can find them coming here to pick up a trade. For the guys, they're pretty good with their hands. They do mechanic, they do electrical, they do plumbing, they do masonry, they do carpentry. They got to come here to do a trade to be certified. For the ladies, they want to open their salon doing hairs and nails. They want to do cooking and baking. They want to be seamstress. They got to come here as well to be certified. Once they're certified, then they become entrepreneurs. They open their small little businesses, or they can branch off in working with someone, with somebody as well. Take a look at the license plates of the vehicle. Noticing the license plates read Belize CA, and that CA stands for Belize Central America. Keep in mind, you are in Central America. Keep in mind, Belize is not an island. Belize is a country by itself. Now, let us see how observant you all are. Let's take a look on the passenger side at the gas station. What is it you're not seeing posted outside the gas station?
Right.
Prices. Do you want to know why? We made history. We're the only country in the world where we can drive up to any gas station for free and drive away. Do you believe me?
No.
Are you calling me a liar?
We don't believe
My hands are itching to eject someone. Nah, I'm just kidding. That was too good to be true indeed. In our country, we are paying, believe it or not, we are paying $11.52 per gallon of fuel. That's right, $11.62 per gallon of fuel. And for the regular, we're paying $10.50 US. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's equivalent to $6 per gallon of fuel. What do you think about $6 per gallon? I think it's ridiculous. Hence the reason I use my BMW. You want to know what is my BMW? My feet. BMW for me is better me walk. Better me walk, pretty much cheaper. On the driver's side, there is an overpass. Beneath that overpass is the Philip Wilson Highway. If we travel 96 miles off that road, we are directly at the border of Belize, Chetumal, Quintana Roo, Mexico. The only thing that separates Belize from the United States is Mexico. Yes, you can fly to Belize, you can drive to Belize, and you can visit the way you visited today by cruise ship. American Airlines, United, Copa, Southwest, feel free to fly back. On the driver's side, the bright green building over there you're viewing, that is the Pelote All-Girls High School. And that is my favorite high school. Anybody have an idea why?
You went there.
That's right, I went there. That's the best high school in Belize. All girls administered by the Palotine sisters. Our uniform had to be worn 4 inches beneath the knees. No discotheque, no alcoholic beverages, no nightclub, no boyfriend for the entire 4 years until we graduated and with the diploma in our hands. Then we can all look at each other and say, hey, girls grew up. On the passenger side, we have the Social Board. Retirement age is 65 retirement. Average Belizean pension is $60 per month, equivalent to $120 Belize. On the passenger side is the Carl Kushner Memorial Hospital. Carl Kushner was a Belizean doctor of German descent. He came here to he gave his time and services to many of the underprivileged Belizeans. For many who couldn't afford the medical, Carl Kushner gave his time and services. Ladies and gentlemen, he had a bicycle that he would ride, visiting home to home, taking care of these Belizeans. After he passed away, they decided to give the hospital his name. The first hospital was known as the Old Belize City Hospital and changed over to the Carl Kushner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to come here to our country to become benefactors, but if you have time and services that you would like to render, feel free to come here. And if you do so, you get a building or a street that carries your name forever. On the driver's side, we have the Nazarene Mission, we have the Nazarene High School. Let us take a look in the yard and look at the students wearing those uniforms. Every school, children wears a different color uniform. Our schools are based on that church-state system where the uniforms are mandatory. It is also mandatory for all these students to attend 1 mass per week. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why all our children wears uniform is to lessen the competition among the children themselves. As well, it looks pretty much nicer wearing their uniform. It also gives us a sense of which school the children are attending. Anyone should be misbehaving on the street. Someone would like to make a complaint, they can identify them by their uniforms immediately. Right next door, take a peek in the yard. This is the Edward Percival York High School. This is one of the few high schools that is administered by the government of Belize. Three group of schools we have here: church state school, we have government school, and we have public schools. So ladies and gentlemen, as we venture within the area, education is mandatory by law. It is not free, but pretty much affordable. Us as parents has to pay tuition fees, school books, uniform, and school supplies. Anything pertaining our children, us the parent, all in charge. Do we have any Canadians on board? On the passenger side, green and gray building here is the Canadian Consulate. Ladies and gentlemen, as we venture within this area, we are entering the school district area. Off to the driver's side, the green and pink building is the University of the West Indies. Anyone interested in becoming a lawyer can attend training here. Further their studies to Jamaica, come back to Belize, and we consider them all to be professional attorneys. You see, being that we speak the Creole, we tend to spoil words pretty easily. Because if you say lawyer, how would you say lawyer in Creole?
Lawyer.
You said it, not me, right? So you say girl, we say gal. You say boy, we say boy. You say mother, we say mother. You say father, we say father. On the driver's side, we have the St. John's All Boys High School. It is one of the most prestigious high school, only All Boys High School, administered by the Jesuit priest, founded in 1887. Our kids first start off at a primary level. After 8 years they complete, receive a certificate. They then head on to the secondary level. Completing 4 years, they receive a diploma. They then head to the junior college, 2 years, an associate degree, and then to the university, a bachelor's, master's degree. On the driver's side, the yellow building all the way to the back with the red roofing is the St. John's Junior College, which is a co-ed school of boys and girls. 3 universities in Belize: University of the West Indies, we have Galen University, and we have the University of Belize. Highest degree you can obtain here is a bachelor's, master's degree. Anything further, we have to head out of the country of Belize. As we venture off within the area, are you familiar with the lady Marion Jones?
Yeah.
The Olympian who ran back in 2000? Let us take a look at this stadium here. This is called the Marion Jones Sporting Complex. Marion parents are Belizean, but Marion was born in the U.S. We claim her as a Belizean. Back in 2000, when Marion ran for the Sydney Olympics in Australia and she won, she held up the U.S. flag along with the Belizean flag. She did her victory lap with both flags in her hand. She gave our country recognition, and we were very proud of her. Our Prime Minister invited her to our country and made her the ambassador for sport. She was granted the key to the city, where she accepted it. But sad to say, Marion fell from grace. As you know, she was on steroids. She came clean, her medal was stripped away from her. But you know something? As Belizean, we stood by her, we supported her. As Belizean, we believe that everybody in life deserves that second chance to prove themselves. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Thank you. On the passenger side, the tower stands about 400 feet tall. White and purple building is BTL, Belize Telemedias Limited, claiming we're the best telephone company in Central America. They first held a monopoly here. They were the first to introduce us to 4G and 4G LTE. They provide us with local landline calls, international calls, roaming, and 4G, 4G LTE. How do we stay in tune with the world? Social media: Viber, Twitter, Snapchat, Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Skype, you name them, we have them right here. That is how we stay in tune with our family members living out to the U.S. We are now within the residential part of Belize City called the Kings Park area. No king or queen live within this area, but you gotta have the fortune of a royalty to live within this specific area. This is the area where you can find the doctors, the lawyers, the politicians, bank managers, diplomats, all residing within this area here. What are the costs of these homes? $250,000 US dollars, $500,000, $750,000 US dollars. Ask the question, can you purchase properties in Belize? Yes, you can. Can you retire here? Yes, you can. Ladies and gentlemen, you can purchase homes, you can purchase properties, you can purchase islands, and yes, you all can retire here. Check out the website. We have the best retirement plan for you all. Like I said, come on down. Yes, come on down to Belize, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, $1 US is equivalent to 2 Belize dollars, so you're twice richer for today. Let us take a look at this blue fence on the passenger side. Take a peek in the yard. This is the home of the previous Prime Minister, Said Wilfred Musa. We do not have a president, but we have a prime minister. And if you notice, our prime minister lives right among its people. Tells you a lot, once again, about this country, Belize. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a parliamentary type government where we vote for a party. Within that party, they select the leader to become the prime minister. Today, our prime minister is Honorable Dean Oliver Barrow. General elections are held every 5 years. Municipal elections are held every 3 years. Our prime minister doesn't have a white home like your president. If he want a white house, then he got to paint it white. But you see my point that I was making with that prime minister home. If you notice in the yard, there were no police officers, there were no security guard. But if you dare to fall over his fence, you surely would have been greeted by 2 vicious chihuahuas. So ladies and gentlemen, you're probably asking, so the people that come to retire here, where do they live? You see all those little islands out there? Those are called islands. All those little mangroves out there, that vegetation is called mangroves ecosystem. 3 types of mangroves: red mangroves, black mangroves, white mangroves. Mangroves plays a very vital role to our country, being that we are prone to hurricane. June to November is the hurricane season and the rainy season. You might be wondering, why did your ship have to stay up this morning? That is because if your ship comes in any closer, you all will be stuck here. The water is pretty shallow. Secondly, it is to avoid hitting our beautiful barrier reef. Earlier this morning, as your ship got here, your ship had to make a turn. How many of you were awake when that ship was making that turn? Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, makes that turn to avoid hitting our beautiful barrier reef, as I'm proud to say that we host the 2nd longest living barrier reef in the world. I'm also proud to say that we are well known for the great blue hole. We're also known for the great fishing, diving, and snorkeling right here in this beautiful jewel of ours, Belize. What you all refer to as islands, we call keys. Our keys are not spelled K-E-Y-S, but they are spelled capital C-A-Y-E-S. Our keys are known as drowned keys, made up of the mangroves ecosystem. Driver's side is the fisheries department. At the back is the coastal zone management. Coastal zone management, fisheries department on the same compound. They're in charge of regulating the rules and laws for the marine product. Anyone being caught fishing in the mating season, their stuff can be confiscated. They can even be fined and serve a term in jail. Our marine products are fish, conch, lobster, and shrimp. Belize exports fine-tail lobster to Red Lobster. Belize export jumbo shrimp to Long John Silver, Olive Garden. Belize export banana fives to the UK. Belize export citrus concentrate to the US, Minute Maid Tropicana. We do a lot of exporting as well as importing. Belize also export brown sugar. If you have tried one of our Coca-Cola, our Coca-Colas are made from 100% pure brown sugar. Large building here on the passenger side reads Icon is a call center. If you ever call to activate, deactivate, to add airtime or set up your voicemail, this is what you will hear. Thank you for calling Truck Phone Wireless. My name is Letitia. How may I assist you today? Be sure to ask Letitia, where are you located? And be more than happy to say Belize, Central America. Many of these call centers have moved here to our country, being that we speak pretty good English. And I am happy for them coming here because it has upped the unemployment rate for us as well. Provided many jobs for many of our young students graduated directly from the high school level. On the driver's side, next to the yellow hut, right here, there's a little replica of an aircraft. What is the name of that aircraft? The Spirit of St. Louis. Are you all familiar with Charles Lindbergh?
Yes.
Charles Lindbergh flew the Spirit of St. Louis and landed it right here on Belizean soil in 1927 within the area we're venturing on. He made history in 1927 here in Belize, as that was the first aeroplane ever to have been landed on Belizean soil. Hence the reason we call this area Lynchburg Landing. Hence the reason I personally call this area Belize's first international airport. This area comes pretty much alive for us on a wacky Wednesday, a thirsty Thursday, a freaky Friday, intoxicating Saturday, and a hangover Sunday. Yes, we have them all lined up. We Belizeans enjoy happy hour and karaoke. Are you all familiar with karaoke? No, right? You're familiar with karaoke. In Belize, we don't say karaoke, we say karaoke because we only try to sing. But I want to tell you, after 2, 3, 4 Bellicking beer, you think you're the best singer. Sing away. On the passenger side, the large brown building at the back there, we don't have skyscrapers in Belize, but this is the tallest building within Belize City. That building is called the Renaissance Tower. It is a condo to Belize. 2-bedroom condos including internet access, cable television, daily maid services, and all utilities paid. Goes for approximately $1,500 US per month. So if you're thinking of coming to Belize for a long-term vacation, sure, come on down, why not? And if you're not in the mood to stay at a condo, you want to stay at a 5-star hotel, sure. Let's take a look on the driver's side. We have the Ramada. The Ramada, which is another 5-star hotel. But if you're observant, take a look up front the building. It says Princess Contribution Center. It says Princess Casino, right? But you see, as tour guides, we work too hard for our little bit of money, and our day starts pretty early at 4 a.m. in the morning. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, I say Contribution Center. Because if you walk in there, the house always will and you lose it, why bother? On the passenger side, we have the zigzag formation fence. On the inside is where our #1 sport is played. Anybody have an idea? What is Belize's #1 sport?
Soccer.
Soccer. Come on now, we all speak Creole. Take off the ER and an A. How do you tell us
Soccer.
Be careful now, you're all cursing. Soccer is a bad word. Yeah, we say football. Football. After all, we play with our foot, right? Yes. But the reason why we don't use that word soccer is because you're insulting someone. And if you don't know to use that word soccer, you end up with a black eye in Belize. To be on the same side, you say football. On the passenger side, red roofing, white building, yellow, blue wall. This is the Mexican House of Culture Center. Also holds the Mexican Embassy. Belize and Mexico, China, Taiwan shares a very, very good diplomatic relationship. Actually, our country, Belize, gets 1/3 of its electricity directly from Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Belize is located on the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula in Central America. We are bounded north by Mexico, west and south by Guatemala, and the east by the beautiful Caribbean Sea. Population of 90,000 people in the city. Population of 350,000 people in the country. The entire country is 8,867 square miles. From north to south, we are 186 miles long. From east to west, we are 68 miles at its widest point. We're the only English-speaking country in Central America, Spanish being the second language and Creole being the native language to the country. We have regained our independence from Great Britain in 1981. 21st of September of 1981, Belize gained its independence. We just completed 36 years of independence on the 21st of September that went by. We're still pretty young, but we are within the developing stage. So ladies and gentlemen, many people tend to refer to our country as a third world country. I don't like that word third world. I tend to say we are a slow developing country. Thanks to you all, tourism has uplifted this country for us. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, your tour guide Letitia, Nardo, my colleagues and the entire staff of Calypso, I want to say thank you for choosing Belize, but thank you most of all for choosing this Calypso train tour, because you're the one that helps us to put the bacon on our table. So thank you very much. Tourism plays a very, very important role within the country. Many people plays a big part in tourism. People that you will not be seeing up front, but we do it trickles right down to many Belizeans being part of this tourism industry. So thank you once again for choosing Belize, and thank you for choosing Calypso Train Tour. Are you familiar with the Amish, the Mennonites?
Yeah.
3% of our entire population are Amish. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the real hard working people of this country. They're the people that provide us with all dairy products like eggs, milk, cheese, and ice cream. They provide us with beautiful, beautiful mahogany furniture. They provide us with quality culture products. And guess what? 10 years ago, the Amish was dredging their backyard, and there was where they stumbled upon oil. And so today, Belize is now exporting crude oil. Yes, we are. Question: if we're exporting oil, how come we're paying so much for fuel? One, we do not have a refinery here, and two, the taxes are pretty high. We were paying 12.5% taxes across the board until the government upped it to 15% taxes. Nothing that I, your tour guide, is wearing is made in Belize. Everything has to be imported. We don't manufacture. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it has to be imported. Once it reaches here, back 15% are added. Believe it or not, I can take $1 US and go to the local market, and I can get 16 bananas for $1. Can you?
No.
I can take $1 US, go to the market and get 25 oranges. Can you?
No.
You see the differences? Anything that we grow here, we can afford. We grow our fruits and vegetables here like coconuts, cassavas, yams, plantains, bananas, oranges, pineapple, cantaloupe. We also grow rice. We do the red kidney beans. We do a lot of our stuff right here, ladies and gentlemen, because it's pretty much affordable. Majority of our canned goods has to be imported, and that is where that 15% taxes is added. So ladies and gentlemen, a little recap. We have one international airport which is located 10 miles away from Belize City. So you can fly to Belize, you can fly to Belize, and you can visit the way you visited by your cruise ship. We have a population of 90,000 people in the city. We have 4 major ethnic groups: the Mestizos, the Creoles, the Garifunas, and the Mayans. We're the only English-speaking country in Central America. We are an independent country. We were formerly known as British Honduras. We are now known as Belize, spreading that word, letting everybody know that British Honduras is now called Belize.